Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Hare हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की ओम अज्ञान तिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Welcome all of you for the third session today. I have given a heading, how to catch fish without getting wet. Why did I give such a heading like this? Because we are all living in this world where our actions produce reactions. How can we act in such a way that the reactions which come will not cause us pain, but which will actually liberate us? How can we perform such actions? I tell you an example. Once upon a time, two boys were roaming around one Jamindar's landlord's huge compound wall. Actually, the landlord had arranged one watchman to go around, round and round regularly to make sure that nobody writes anything on the wall. If anybody would write anything, immediately they were, caught by the watchman and beaten up. He was taken to the landlord, and in front of the landlord, the fellow will be beaten to, up to the point of fainting, he'll be beaten up severely. So everybody in the village knew that nobody should write anything on the wall. If you write, you will get a severe punishment. So when these two friends went, one of the boys said, "Today I'm going to write something on the wall, but you will see that I will not be punished, rather I'll be rewarded," he said. And the other friend challenged him. He made a bet with him. How is it possible? So guess what he wrote? On the three walls he wrote, this wall, this wall, this wall. The watchman was going around, and the watchman caught both the boys and took them to the landlord. The landlord came out and saw what they have scribbled on the wall. After seeing that, he was so delighted. So he called these two boys into his big palace and he gave a profuse reward to them. Can you guess what he must have written on the wall? Anybody? Actually, I want them to answer. If they don't answer, I will ask you. Huh? Yeah. Any of you? What he must have written for which he was given a reward? He wasn't beaten. You want to guess? You want to try? You want to try? Okay. What he must have written that he was. Till then, nobody had got such a prize, such award. But this boy got an award for writing on all the three walls. Okay, let's hear from her. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he said, "Do not write on the wall."
Yeah, that's what he wrote. Do not write on the wall and attract. If you write on the wall, you will attract punishment. Like that, he wrote on all the three walls. So now the Zamindar saw that and thought that, oh, now my watchman doesn't have to go round and round because people will read this and they will be warned. So he was more happy. So he rewarded him. So that's correct. We'll give her an applause. So what is so special about this writing this? Because the most important point in this statement is he wrote something in alignment with the will of the landlord. So there is Lord's will and there is the Jivatma's independent will. In this world, most of the living beings live a life independent of the Lord's will, not in alignment with Lord's will. Did I show you that prodigal son I showed you? I haven't shown you, probably it will come, I think. There'll be a video you will see. So the video will show about how not aligning with the Lord's will only brings us problem. Just like if you look at the sun, there is no shadow in the sun. But if you turn your back to the sun, then you see the shadow. So in God, there is no deficiency. There are no bad qualities. But when we turn our back to Him, when we don't see Him, when we take our face away from Him, then we see all problems in this world. So many problems. So, therefore, how to catch fish without getting wet means how to do action without getting entangled. This reminds me of another little story. Once upon a time, a group of 2-3 dozen monkeys were moving from one area to another in the forest. They were looking for the forest where they can get the best of fruits. No? So one day it was very, very hot noon. They were all very thirsty. But there was one leader monkey which would escort them all. And he warned them, nobody should do anything without, my permission. So they saw a lake and all the monkeys want to run and drink water. But the monkey said, do not go near the lake because I am seeing some big, big footprints. It appears to be some ogre. Ogre means like an yaksha. So it's dangerous to go near this water. Let me make sure. So we waited for almost 20 minutes. There was no sound anywhere. So the monkey said, why are you waiting so long? We are all thirsty. He said, wait, let's wait and watch. After 20 minutes, the yaksha from the water, he was a water creature. He came out and he said, oh, monkeys, don't you feel very hot today? Why don't you drink these fresh cooling waters and quench your thirst? I have the entire lake for you, he said. And all the monkeys said, thank you, they said. But the leader monkey said, see, I told you, this is a warning that we should not go near the water. And the leader monkey said to the yaksha, he said, thank you, sir, for coming out and displaying yourself. Now we will not come anywhere near the lake. He said, now we were saved by your speech. So the yaksha got cheated. Of course, yaksha had no ability to come out of the water. He can't come like a fish. He can't come out of the water. But if they go near water, he will eat them up. So the monkey told all the other monkeys to go to the field and collect the reeds. Reeds means it's a long tubular grass. Just like you see this camera here, that tube, like that long tubular grass. So he told them to pluck it and bring it. And they all sat in the trees and put that straw and then they sucked the water and they drank. So So in this way, they could quench their thirst, but not get entangled by the yaksha. In the same manner, we should know how to live in this world. Uh, you can live in this world, do action in this world, but your actions should not produce painful reactions. That you will learn today. Therefore, it is called how to catch fish without getting wet. So you learn about law of karma today. One of the things that all of us are looking for in this world is happiness. So everybody is searching for it. Everybody is running everywhere. The whole rat race in this world is for making money. And the goal of making money is to purchase happiness with money. So there are different levels of happiness. If you see very carefully, the physical happiness, like say eating a sweet, it lasts only for a few minutes only. A mental happiness, like say singing a song, maybe you like a song for about maybe 2-3 months or so. After that, you want to sing some other new song. After that, you get bored with that. So mental happiness may last for a little longer. And intellectual happiness lasts for even much more longer. Say, let's imagine one of you becomes a chess champion in the entire country. So you are a champion for whatever number of years, maybe 5 years or 10 years, until someone else comes up. Till then, our intellectual pleasure of ability, able to checkmate anybody, that may give us some satisfaction. But beyond all these things, there's a spiritual happiness, which is what the yogis are after. There's some famous verse in the scriptures. Ramante yogino anante satyananda chidatmani iti rama pade naso param brahma vidiyate. This verse says, don't think the yogis or the sannyasis, they have given up the society and, gone away from all the pleasures. They are anti-pleasure. It's not like that. They are looking for everlasting pleasure. Ramante yogino anante, the word is used. Anante means unending bliss. Just like you say, there's a connoisseur of food, connoisseur of art. Similarly, yogis means connoisseur of pleasure. Connoisseur means to buy a particular picture, he may spend $5,000 or $10,000 also. To buy just one picture, modern art, they spend so much money. Connoisseur of arts are like that. Connoisseur of food means to eat one particular food, he will even fly 10 hours to some particular hotel somewhere in other part of the country. Similarly, connoisseur of pleasure means he will not settle with chota mota pleasures, little pleasures. He will go for infinite bliss or everlasting pleasure. That's meaning of a yogi. Therefore, yogi settles only with spiritual pleasure. Let us see one by one. See, this is physical pleasure, examples of physical pleasure. This is mental pleasure. Playing a piano or doing a painting or any instrument, or here there is a romantic affair. All these things give some pleasure for a while. And then people find happiness in different things like sports or drinking, play parties, or sometimes skydiving or daredevil acts, adventurous acts. Yeah, people also try all different crazy fashions. Yeah, so many things they try. Intellectual, as I told you, is even more lasting. If you derive some mathematical equation which nobody else could do, you feel great joy for a long time. Like for example, if you more than intellectual, there is one more platform, which is egoistic platform also. Egoistic means what? Say somebody planted the flag in Mount Everest for the first time. Or what's his name? Is it Hillary? Hillary, I think, is it? Yeah, Hillary placed the flag first time. Can anybody else defeat that record? Is it possible? Can anybody defeat that record? Now many people can plant, many people can go and keep the flag now, but already he has kept. So he was the first one to do, and that record will not be substituted by anybody. He's the first one to do. Like in Pune, I live in Pune. In Pune lives one scientist called Bhatkar, Vijay Bhatkar. So he was the first one to invent the Param computer, supercomputer. Now nobody can defeat his record because he was the first one to make it. So this happiness will last how long? It lasts for a whole life practically. Correct now, because he is the singular person who did that work. So that is egoistic pleasure, we call it. But after a person dies, next life he will not even remember who I was in the previous life. But spiritual pleasure goes beyond that also. Like you can see, the first world countries like America, they have practically all amenities and facilities You are experiencing it living in America. See the kind of fine roads and fine communication systems, transportation systems. In America, flying in a plane from one place to another place is like in India, you go by bus. It's as common as that. So you have all plush facilities here. Mm. But still, we find that man is unhappy. Mm. Many people become workaholics and they make a lot of money also, but they are not peaceful, they are not happy. So, where is that happiness lacking? What is the reason for that? Uh, so, there are four activities common to humans and animals, like eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Four activities. Animals also do, humans also do. But you will observe that humans do these four activities in a more sophisticated way. Like humans are eating in a star hotel, like 5-star hotel or 7-star hotel. Like in one place, there's a rotating hotel, which means there's a glass room somewhere up in the building, and then the whole room rotates. Whether room rotates or not, your eating is the same business like what animals do, isn't it? Similarly, for humans to sleep, they have Dunlop pillow bed. Now there is something called a space age bed. You know that in space age bed, in winter season you have hot water inside, so you feel very warm. In summer season, you have cold water inside the bed. You feel very cool. And morning when you have to wake up, the bed will shake, like that will shake. So many things they do like that. But whatever you do, ultimately sleeping activity is the same. Animal may sleep in a platform and human may sleep in a Dunlop pillow bed. It doesn't make any difference. So therefore you have to observe that, like our Martin Luther King made one profound statement. He said, guided missiles and misguided men. That's the word he used. In the modern times, missiles are very nicely guided by the intelligence, sharp intelligence of the man, but they are misguided men, he said. One more statement he made. We are economic giants, he said, but we are emotional infants. So because we are emotional infants, we are likely to become misguided in pressing the Star Wars and creating a war between even continents. It can happen. So therefore, then how are we superior to animals? That is a question. If we are also fighting, animals fight with claws and teeth, and we fight with scuds and missiles, then how are we superior? Even after getting a doctorate degree, you will find every country tells their best intelligentsia to make bombs, isn't it? So that they can be prepared to face the neighborhood country. So then how has man become advanced than the animals? Any of you want to say anything? How are we superior to animals? In what way are we superior? Yes? Where is the mic? Yeah, the mic. Cardless? Yeah. Yes. You can, and if you raise the hand, mic will come to you. You want to, yeah, please. You want to give a try? Yeah, please give it. Give it. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Okay. Any of you? Utkarsh. What is your friend's name, Utkarsh? Shreyas. Yeah. Yeah.
We can think there must be something higher than that.
Yeah. And what is that higher, if I can know, any of them can suggest? What higher things human can know, what animals can't know? Like this class is being attended by whom? Human beings or any other species? Yeah? Only humans, isn't it? You know, when Srila Prabhupada would give class, some of the people would bring their pets, dogs and cats. So Prabhupada told that outside the room, arrange a pole, where in one pole dogs were tied and another pole cats were tied. So Prabhupada said they will be outside and you all can come inside, Prabhupada said. That was on Roger in San Francisco. He wasn't very happy. When he sat in Prabhupada's class, he thought, why Swamiji doesn't allow the pets inside? He was thinking. And Prabhupada began the class saying, this Krishna consciousness movement is not for the cats and dogs. It's for human beings, like that he said. Then he understood, okay, even if they come and sit, they can't understand. But you all can understand what they can't understand. Because you can understand the spiritual subject matter. You see here, this is spiritual. For example, praying or doing yoga, or reading scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and chanting. These are things which only you can do. Animals can't do. See, animals can only think about this, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. But humans can inquire about what is life, what is death, and what is beyond. You have that ability to understand answer to these questions. You see, for example, here is a goat shown here. Put some 25 goats, and one goat is being slaughtered in the room inside. And all the goats, you give them grass, they will just eat the grass and just keep one by one going in. You will see that. They do that in the shops, you will find that. They don't even ask a question, what happened to that goat which went inside? He's being slaughtered. But imagine if you put 25 men and give them all ice cream in the hand, they're eating. And one man is slaughtered inside in a gelatin machine. What do you think other men will do? Do you think they'll stand there? They will flee from that immediately. That's what makes human beings intelligent. Because we can't continue suffering. If we see that there is a suffering, immediately we will take action. But animals keep suffering day after day, but they won't ask it. Like I've seen in Pune, many of the bulls and buffaloes, they come and eat the cauliflower from the hand cart. That fellow takes a stick and hits them. Next day again they come and eat. Again they get hit. They don't ask, why is he hitting? What am I doing wrong? They can't ask the question. Ask yourself, you go to some relative's house, they mistreat you, will you go there again? People don't go for generations. People say that your grandfather was insulted by their grandfather, so we don't go to their house, they say. So human beings are much more evolved in terms of their understanding. And therefore, you will see that they can inquire about life, death, and beyond. These are the 4 questions you can ask. Why am I suffering? What is the purpose of life? How I can align with nature and God. Nature is mother, God is father. How I can align. And how can I get everlasting happiness? So, see, the first one is about why am I suffering? And the last one is about how I can become everlastingly happy. These 2 are connected questions. If we can put a full stop to all sufferings, and we can attain everlasting happiness and the purpose of life and the aligning with nature and God. These are answers, these are questions which Arjuna asks Krishna, and Krishna gives answers in Bhagavad Gita for all of them. In human life, you will see, like you see, between birth and death, you have a choice. What is the choice? You can make inquiry. Therefore, we should learn to ask intelligent questions about life. Why should I get old without my wanting to get old? Like you always see, you don't want to get old, but our body is gradually getting old. And we don't want diseases, but we get diseases. So one should ask questions, why am I getting it? If you ask these questions, you get answers and you're promoted to higher life. And those who don't inquire, they are demoted to lower forms. The Atma, if we live our lives based on instinctive pleasures, animalistic pleasures, then we become like animals. I will show you that later when karma topic comes. So these are 2 vital questions. Why am I suffering? Why do I go after this life? So now let us answer the first question, why am I suffering? Generally, if you ask a boy, what are the problems in life? These are the problems he says. He's thinking about job and money and how handsome am I and all these things. They don't think of anything beyond this body. Yeah. These are not the real problems at all, because he may have no good physique, but somebody else has good physique. He may be jobless, but somebody else is having job. But what are the problems which are common to all? Although it's common to everybody in this world, but nobody wants it. But despite endeavors, nobody can avoid it. What are they? Can you think of the 4 real problems of life? If you want me a clue to give, I can tell you, Siddhartha Gautama Buddha found out these 4 things in his travels as a prince. Anybody? You can guess? One other? Yeah, yes, yeah.
Aging.
Aging, correct. You are right. Very good. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone? One more? Yeah. Yeah.
Like taking birth again and again.
Taking birth, yeah, that's true. Yeah, taking birth over and over. That's correct. Thank you. That is second. So 2 answers are released now out of 4. Let us see. Here there's one more. Death, exactly. Nobody likes to die in this world, but during the COVID time, we saw many people became breathless and they died. You've seen that in the hospitals. You've seen due to need for oxygen. So against one's will, one is ejected out of the situation and taken to the grave. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, thank you. All 3 are correct. There's only one left now. Anybody else? Yeah. Yeah.
Old age.
Old age is not yet told? Okay. Yeah. Birth? Yes, yes, Maji.
Disease.
Disease, yeah, correct. Disease. So these are the four things. Birth, old age, disease, death. Krishna says this. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanu darshanam, he says. Birth, old age, disease, death. These are the four problems of life, he says. One who can understand this, they know the real problems of life. Actually, Bhagavad Gita gives a solution to all these four. It can be completely given up. We will come to that. See, this is Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. He said to the minister, he was shocked seeing that somebody has become an old man holding a stick, somebody is a diseased man, somebody has died, and the body is being taken to the graveyard. Seeing all these things, the prince, young prince, asked the question, this is the end, which has been fixed for all, and yet the world forgets it, fears, and takes no heed. Turn back the chariot, he said. This is no time or place for pleasure excursions. How would an intelligent person pay no heed at a time of disaster when he knows of his impending destruction? Like that, yeah, very intelligent prince. So he saw that this body is irreversibly aging, irreversibly, it's heading towards death. So he thought that before that, I want to find out what life is. Who am I? So he sat under the Bodhi tree and he attained the Bodhisattva. And then he became the enlightened one. So he told about these four things. Like we all want to remain young forever, but very soon our body starts getting old and becomes weak and frail. You will see, for example, when you are 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, your strength increases. You will see that. When you become 40, it may increase. Maximum up to 45, 50. After 50, the strength will diminish. When you become 60, 70, 80, it just goes down, 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 like that. Similarly, you can see your food also, when you eat 10, 20, 30, 40 years. After 30 or so, 40, 50, the food doesn't increase more. It gradually will reduce. You will see that. You will have experience of that. So, in the old days, people try like this. They put all kinds of cosmetics, but the beauty doesn't come back. The beauty is gone after eventually. Nobody likes to become old, but the body gets older. Similarly, nobody likes disease. Everybody wants to be brisk and happy and joyful, but they get sickness. They get some kind of sickness keeps coming, no matter what your age is. Yeah. Similarly, death can come anytime. You see, she got a sudden massive heart attack, and like this will also. He is unable to breathe. So, here is Garuda Puran says this. Indeed, O Garuda, Lord Vishnu is telling, when the hour of death approaches, then by chance a certain disease raises up its head. The organs grow weak, trouble starts showing their powers, as if all of a sudden millions of scorpions have stung the person. So suddenly, some disease is introduced in the body. So now some people say that, okay, my old age, I'm not old yet, I'm still young. My birth is over long before. My death is also far away. Why do you talk about all these things? I am pretty all right now. Some people say like that. But you will see these threefold miseries I have shown here. These are there for everybody, whether you are young or old. One is the miseries arising from body and mind, our own body. Can you name some miseries from the body and mind? Any of you? Where is the mic? Can you name some miseries arising from body and mind? Yeah. You can show the mic, yeah.
Any kind of muscle pain.
Yeah, there can be muscle pain. There can be disease in the body. In the mind, what can be there? In fact, 21st century WHO statistics says that the mental related illness is the most important problem now, which is like depression, hypertension, hyperactivity, isn't it? Yeah. That is my body and mind. What are the miseries from other living entities? Somebody may do pickpocketing from you, or mosquitoes may bite you, or sometimes terrorists may create trouble throwing bombs, like WTC, September 11. So you find that other living beings also causes trouble. They don't let us live peacefully. Like sometimes you are driving a car properly, but another fellow comes and hits. Even though you are very careful, you can see that. So you find other living beings troublous. Then there are also natural calamities, disasters. So let us show them. So these are all different examples for the three types of miseries. In Sanskrit, they're called Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, Adhidaivika. Three names are used for that. So you see, Adhyatmika Klesh means miseries from our own body and mind. Yeah, like the teen suicides due to academic pressure, or lack of family support, stress, or massive heart attack, so many things. See, miseries due to our body and mind. Yeah, these are all due to body and mind. Yeah. Okay. And then now miseries arising from other living beings. I told you see the snake, or the mosquito, pickpocket and all that. Adhibhautika it is called. Somebody insulting us and all that. See, natural calamities like typhoons, cyclones, floods, or you find earthquakes. See, the Panchamahabhut, each of them can potentially give us trouble. Like earth can give earthquake, water can give floods, fire can cause fire accidents. Chicago fire, you must have heard, isn't it? 2,000 acres of land or something like that was burned. Fire. Similarly, air can cause cyclones. And ether, space can cause sometimes stampede. So these are called Adhidaivika Klesh. So Durga Ma, if you see, she has a Trishul. The Trishul represents these three kleshas only. Adhyatmika, Adhibhautika, Adhidaivika Klesh. You're saying that miseries from body and mind, these are other living beings, and miseries from natural disasters. So these are always there. Like, nobody can say I'm free from disease. Maybe everybody has some disease sometime, or the mind troubles. You will see in this world, you ask anybody, are you happy? They will say that I'm happy, but they will say everybody has some reason. Like in Bombay, there's one area called Meera Road. One boy got married, his friend told him, hey, now that you got married, your father has gifted you a house, you have a tank at the top of your house, you get 24 hours water supply, and you got a job which is at a stone's throw, and everything is favorable for you. I think you must be a happy man now. He said, happy, but, he said, what is the but? He said, there's mosquitoes in Meera Road. He said, everywhere, there are a lot of mosquitoes in that area. Similarly, you will find everybody has some thing to say in their life, missing. Somebody will say that, yes, I got a seat in American college, but I wish I got a distinction. I only got a first class. Somebody may say that. So in this world, you will always find that something is deficient. Some klesha is always there. Current klesha is the pandemic. Everybody knows. Of course, we are very advanced in medical science now. We have latest technology and many modern day equipments. They are very costly. At the same time, if you are a moneyed person, you can go to such hospitals. But can they give you a foolproof solution to you? If you see, something comes up, like, 3 years ago, SARS came. Now coronavirus came, just Delta variant. And then Omicron came. So you will see that the problems are suppressed by scientific solutions. For example, you have white hair, they prepare very nice hair dye and give you, that's all. When you have wrinkles, they give a facelift. When you have back pain, a knee pain, a head pain, for everything they have Brufen or Combiflam, some painkiller, which is something that suppresses your pain. It doesn't relieve you, it doesn't cure it. Or somebody is feeling breathlessness, they are given some ventilators or oxygen tubes. So these are all temporary stopgap solutions. These are not permanent solutions. Even if somebody has a ventilator, do you think he can talk to you? Somebody on ventilator, can they talk to you? You keep doing like this, they can't talk. You can't save a person, and you can't, make him live for thousands of years. So these are all temporary solutions. They cannot stop old age. They can't eradicate disease per se from the planet. They can't remove it completely. One disease goes and another disease comes. I read an article in Indian Express in India. The title was Resurgence of Diseases. Resurgence means what? 10 years ago, diseases like smallpox, chickenpox, and man drove them away. Now they are replaced by new diseases now. long names, peculiar diseases. And needless to talk about the psychological diseases which come now. They are far more than physical diseases. So, therefore, these are temporary solutions. But to get solution, permanent solution for that, you need to know answer to this question. Where do I go after this life? Then the permanent solution can be obtained. Where do we go after this life?
So, what's through this door? Where do we go? Is it nothing?
So we have seen childhood, then you see boyhood, then you see old age, and what next after that? What happens at death? So that answer is given in the Bhagavad Gita. See, at the time of death, the soul leaves the gross body behind and is taken to another womb based on the quality of the desires restored in the subtle body at the time of death. It is such a scientific mechanism it is. Srila Prabhupada writes a very famous sentence. He says, the mental existence occupies a particular form as soon as there is an opportunity. For example, right now we are all sitting here. There are so many waves around us which you can't see with eyes. But you put a television box, immediately it can capture them and show it in whatever channel you are seeing. Correct, no? In the same manner, our mental existence means you have certain desires stored in the mind, in the subtle body. The soul is surrounded by subtle body, mind especially. And those desires want to give shape, but they would need a facility. Like you want to go from here to airport, you need a facility of a car. If I give you a car, you know how to drive the car, then immediately you will take the car and go. So car is a facility given to fulfill your desire. Similarly, you have a desire to eat. As soon as there is a desire to eat, you will look out for a hotel someplace. So in this way, you will find that our desires stored in the mind are looking for a vent out. And the gross body is the machine given to the soul to give vent to his, or vent or shape to his desires. Like here you see, the boy is changing the vehicles. But it's the same driver. He is just changing the vehicles. When he was a small boy, school-going boy, he had probably a bicycle. Then later on in college, he got a bike. Then he got a car. Then he became an entrepreneur. He has his own industries all across the globe. He has a chartered plane. So the person moves from one vehicle to another, isn't it? Like that, the Atma also changes bodies. You will see that it moves from one body to another. Many 8.4 million species. See, here is a story of an Ajamila. Let us see what happened to him at the time of death. See, he is about to die now in his old age. Actually, this Ajamila was born in a Brahmana family in Kanyakurja. There's a place called Kanauj nowadays in Kanpur. Near Kanpur, there's a place called Kanauj. Kanauj earlier was called as Kanyakurja. So he lived in Kanyakurja in a Brahmana's home. Morning he would get up, bow down to parents, very respectful to parents. He was very learned in Vedas. He was learned in chanting mantras. He was a good boy. Sadachari, Purusha. He was a very well-behaved fellow. One day he went to the forest and to pluck some flowers and bring for puja. Suddenly he happened to see a very dirty sight of one Shudra and Shudrani embracing and smiling. That dirty sight he saw. And he couldn't run away from that place. He saw that sight, then he was hiding behind a tree. Then again he saw it. So the more he observed that scene, the lusty desires sprouted in his mind. That became more pronounced. Then he came home, but he could not take away that thought from his mind. Later on, he brought the prostitute to his home as a servant maid. Then eventually he drove away his wife and to her parents' home. He drove away his parents also in their old age, although they were very religious and pious parents, you see. He drove them away. And then he brought this prostitute and he was spending time with her. He begot 10 children in her womb. So you can imagine, and in order to satisfy the prostitute, he had to steal from the passers-by. Sometimes he even killed them also. He lived a very, very sinful life. Can you imagine a Brahmana boy, how much degraded he can become? He became so degraded. Later on in his old age, like you see in the picture, he was lying down in the bed. At that time, Yamadutas came to... Yamadutas are constables of Yamaraj, like you will see now here. Chadamala lying in the bed.
Narayan! Narayan!
His last child was called Narayan. He was calling Narayan. See, now they are putting a rope to pull the subtle body out. They are pulling the subtle body out.
Stop! Leave this man alone!
Who are you that dares to challenge us? For we are the Yamadutas.
So that they were the Yamadutas, and they came to drag him out of the body. But what did he call? Narayana, he called, no? So when he called, how did he call Narayan? That is another reason for that. His last child was a small boy. His wife was one day sitting at the door. One monk was passing by. She asked the monk, please give some name for my child, she said. So the monk said, okay, call him Narayana. He said, and he went away. So since then he has been calling the child Narayan, Narayan, like that. And now, at the time of death, when Yamadutas, he saw them, he got frightened. He called his son only, Narayana. But that was heard by Lord Vishnu in the spiritual world. And Vishnu told his Vishnu Dutas, whom you see in the picture. Vishnu Dutas also look like Vishnu, but they are servants of Vishnu. He told them, go immediately. Somebody is calling my name. They said, my Lord, he's not calling you, he's calling his son. But Lord said, give him a benefit of doubt. Go there. Find out. Because that name is my name. Save him immediately. So immediately they came and took the sword and cut off the ropes of Yamadutas. Then what ensued was a debate between the two. On one side the Vishnudutas, other side Yamadutas. The Yamadutas said, we will give a list of the sins that this fellow did, due to which we want to take him to Yama's abode. And the Vishnudutas said, you people have not read the scriptures very properly. The moment a person chants the Lord's name even once, that name Narayana, immediately he goes out of the jurisdiction of Yamaraj. He comes into the jurisdiction of Supreme Lord Vishnu. Like that they said. So they said, go back and talk to Yamaraj, your master, and come back. So they had to leave and go. At that time, Ajamila was very grateful. He looked at the Vishnutas very gratefully for saving his life. But then they vanished from there. And then what followed was Ajamila became very repentant. He cried bitterly. And then he went to a place called Haridwar. You see in the right side picture. There was a Vishnu temple where he went and became a pujari. He was studying the Gita Bhagavatam, was chanting the holy names. Every day he took a dip in the holy Ganges, lived a clean life associated with saintly people. 12 years later, the same Vishnudutas came. And on the right side picture you see, they took him back to spiritual world. So what is the lesson from this pastime? Even at the time of death, Ajamila, by calling the name of the Lord, and then one spur of the moment he was saved. And then he was given an opportunity, a second chance. That's what we call a second chance. And he could ascend to the spiritual world.
कौसल्या सुप्रजा रामपूर्वा सन्ध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ नरशार्दूल कर्तव्यं दैवमान्तिकम् कौसल्या सुप्रजा रामपूर्वा सन्ध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ नरशार्दूल कर्तव्यं दैवमान्तिकम् उत्तिष्ठोत्तिष्ठ गोविन्द उत्तिष्ठ गरुडध्वज उत्तिष्ठ कमलाकान्ता त्रैलोक्यं मङ्गलं कुरु.
So you saw, this is called the Gajendra Moksha, what you saw just now. I think yesterday I narrated it briefly, I think, correct? The who was the crocodile, who became the crocodile, and the king became Gajendra, I told you. Again, Gajendra also, previous life he had done bhakti, Sukriti he was carrying. So he was remembering that, and then he was calling, he also called, you saw Om Namo Narayana, he was also saying, you saw that? So he actually, he didn't remember the Lord's name. He was calling that whoever is the creator of the universe, whoever has made all of us, I know you are the supreme. Please come, save me from this crocodile. That's what he prayed in the beginning. But then when Lord came, everything, remembrance came to him. Then he called his name, Narayana, Akila Guru, Bhagavan Namaste. As he offered prayers. Now he landed in Vaikuntha now, you saw that. Vaikuntha airplane took him. So one thing becomes clear by these two pastimes, that anyone who remembers the Lord at the time of death, his form, his name, they go back to the spiritual world. Okay, on what basis the soul is awarded the next body? You may have a question. Please repeat this verse. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Lord Krishna says, whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail, he says. That means all your life, how you have spent your life, those thoughts accrue at the time of death. And then that gives rise to one singular thought, which gives you the next body. So you can have divine thoughts like Prahalad or demoniac thoughts like Hiranyakashipu. Both types of thoughts are possible. Depends on how we have lived our life. Yeah, the desires stored in our mind at the time of death and our good and bad karma that we have done based on these two things. Here you see, somebody is a lusty fellow, he becomes a dog in the next life. Somebody is a lazy fellow, sleeping long hours. Like one of my friends slept on Friday and got up on Sunday. So somebody sleeping long hours, he becomes a polar bear. See, see how polar bear is moving. This fellow is envious by people, crooked people, they become snakes. A person who, any male or female, they keep exposing their bodies, they become trees with no dress. And somebody who is eating flesh and drinking blood, he's preparing a consciousness of a tiger or a lion. So our consciousness, how we prepare, that's what brings the next body. Like here you see, already he is preparing the consciousness of a tiger. Depending on what type of, see, he is preparing consciousness of a polar bear. So even while the soul is seated in the human body, he's already developing the particular type of consciousness. This is the Gajendra Moksha you saw. Gajendra actually, as soon as he was subject to a traumatic situation, Baba sit down. He put his head behind, yeah. So traumatic situation, he remembered Lord, therefore he went to Vaikuntha. You see, he was given a spiritual form, a Vishnumurti form, because that's what he remembered. As per how we lead our life and what we remember our consciousness, accordingly we get the body. So here Draupadi instantly tried a strip of cloth when she saw a drop of blood in Krishna's hands. So Krishna says, today Draupadi, I'm indebted to you, and when the time comes, I will pay you back for each and every thread, he says. So, you know how he paid back? When her cloth was pulled by Dushasana, who was trying to strip her naked, Krishna supplied her unlimited cloths. So this goes to show, see, we can only serve God with two hands, but Vishwarupa Darshan, God, Krishna showed millions of hands. He can return back a million times what we offer him. Therefore, one should not forget to, take devotion service when we have a human form of life. Here is another story of one. There was a great king whose name was Bharata, after whom our Bharatvarsha was named also. Before him, our country was named as Ajanabavarsha. Later on, Ajanabavarsha became Bharatvarsha. He was the eldest son of King Rishabhadev, amongst 100 sons. So he was a very intelligent person. He went to the forest at the appropriate time and he took Vanaprastha, living in the jungle, in the holy bank of a river, living in a hermitage, meditating on the Vishnu form. He would do 3 Gayatris morning, afternoon, and evening. Very peaceful life. He left the kingly life, royal order, and he lived a very peaceful life, performing meditation on Lord Krishna and everything. One day, a deer came, running and jumped over the water when the deer heard the sound of a lion's roar. So the small deer doe, fell from its womb, and the mother deer died when it jumped on the other side due to the fear of the lion. So seeing the drowning small doe, he picked it up and he took it to the ashram and started caring for it, caressing it, offering grass. He felt like an orphan child. He started taking care of it. But the problem came when the deer was growing, he became attached to the deer. He started keeping the deer on his lap. When he would be sleeping, he will keep it on the chest. When he would go to the forest, he will keep it on the shoulder and take it with him. He became afraid that lions and tigers should not kill him. So gradually, he started treating it like his own child. So much so that his spiritual sadhana went for a toss. He would be giving ahuti in the yagnik fire. But while giving also, he was looking at the deer. He forgot the Lord. Gradually, he became forgetful. In modern times also, many of you may agree with this, that we all got smartphone because smartphone has a lot of utility value. You want to use it for education purpose or for calling people. Nowadays, other than calling, people use it for 25 other purposes. You can see that. And the smartphone actually sucks our time. It takes away, it distracts us from many of the important goals in life, for which you lament later. It diverts you. So the smartphone is also like this deer which distracted Bharata. So his spiritual duties couldn't be performed properly, and at one point of time the deer was missing. He started weeping, crying, searching in the forest, and he hit a stone and fell on the ground, became weak-minded. He was about to die and the deer came in front of him. Like in the picture you're seeing, Bharata is looking, his subtle body was fixed on the search for the deer. So that's why the subtle body is shown. Because subtle body was absorbed in deer thought. The next life he went on to become a deer. Now you may think that why God is so cruel. He came to the forest, he practiced spiritual life. How did he give him the body of a deer? But Lord actually showed him compassion by giving him remembrance of the previous life. He gave him remembrance of the previous life. He told him that, who he was in the previous life. He remembered that. Did I show you the video of one deer? I showed you. Did I show you? This is a recent deer, not Bharata deer. I just showed you. Any of you know Marathi? Yes. Who knows Marathi? Asha, you all know? Okay, then you will understand this very easily.
गेल्या काही दिवसांपासून संपूर्ण महाराष्ट्रात वारीसोबत चालणारं हरिण चांगलंच व्हायरल झालंय. मात्र ते हरिण स्वतःहून वारीत सामील झालं की एखादा वारकरी त्या हरणाला वारीत घेऊन आलाय. कुठपर्यंत या हरणाचा प्रवास सुरू राहणार आहे हे जाणून घेण्यासाठी पाहूया हा स्पेशल रिपोर्ट.
सोशल मीडियावर सध्या या व्हिडिओने धुमाकूळ घातलाय. टाळ चिपळ्यांच्या आवाजासोबत हे हरिण निर्धास्तपणे चालतंय तरी कसं? ना कुणी पाळलेलं ना कुणी जबरदस्तीने आणलेलं. मग त्याच्या येण्यामागचं नेमकं कारण तरी काय?
2 दिवस चालला आमच्या बरोबर आणि 2 दिवस चालल्यानंतर आमच्यासोबत राहायचं, आमच्यासोबत दिंडीमध्ये रोज चालायचं आणि चालत असताना आम्ही जेव्हा नामस्मरण करायचो, जर दिंडी एका जागेला थांबली तर दिंडी थांबल्यानंतर ते सुद्धा आमच्याबरोबर थांबून मुक्कामाच्या ठिकाणी 1 दिवस माझ्याच कीर्तनामध्ये ते पूर्ण 1 घंटा कीर्तनामध्ये बसलं खाली.
विठ्ठलाच्या भेटीची आस जशी वारकऱ्यांच्या डोळ्यात दिसते, तीच आस घेऊन बुलढाण्याच्या पालखीसोबत हे सोन पिवळं हरिण चालतंय.
समूहम सर्वभूतेषु नमे द्वेषेशी न प्रिया. मी जर सर्वांच्याच हृदयात आहे तर मग त्या हरणाचं का असू नये? ते चालेल कसं, बोलेल कसं, ऐकेल कसं? हे सगळी त्याच्या शक्तीचा प्रभाव आहे, आत्मशक्तीचा प्रभाव आहे.
म्हणून आनंद होता तो आत्मिक की हे प्राणी मात्र सुद्धा. पण काय नेमकं कुठून ऊर्जा मिळते होई सगळी? आम्ही बघतो की म्हणजे रोज अगदी 20-25
स्वरूपाचाच आनंद आहे, आत्मस्वरूपाचाच आनंद आहे, तो सर्वात आहे ना.
मुक्कामाच्या ठिकाणी हरणानेही विसावा घेतला. कीर्तनाच्या तालात ते सुद्धा तल्लीन झालं. एकूणच वारकऱ्यांच्या दिनक्रमासारखाच हरिणाचाही दिनक्रम तयार झाला.
तर तसं संतांचं वचन आहेत, संत सांगतात प्रत्येक प्राण्यामध्ये, प्रत्येक जीवामध्ये भगवंताचा वास असतो. त्याचप्रमाणे ते आता प्रत्यक्षात आपल्याला दिसून आलं की ज्या अर्थी हरिण आपल्यासोबत चालतंय त्या अर्थी खरोखरच त्याच्यामध्ये भगवंताचा वास आहे आणि ती पूर्वजन्माची काहीतरी तिचं राहिलेलं एक कर्म असेल किंवा पुण्य असेल, म्हणूनच ती महाराजांच्या पालखीसोबत 2 दिवस चालली.
वृक्षवल्ली आम्हा सोयरे वनचरे, पक्षीही सुस्वरे आळविती. दिंडीसोबत चालणारं हे सोनपिवळं हरिण बघून हा तुकारामांचा अभंग आपल्याला तंतोतंत वाटायला लागतो. त्यामुळे विठ्ठल भेटीची आस आणि माऊलीचं साजिरं रूप आपल्याला कशातही सापडू शकतं याचा प्रत्यय येतो. गोविंद शेळकेसह ब्युरो रिपोर्ट, ABP माझा, बीड.
You all understood this? So what they are showing is how this deer, due to the previous life influence, he is able to relish the kirtan, and he walked 10 miles with them. So just as this deer was very Krishna conscious deer, you saw now, in the same manner, Bharat Maharaj also became such a deer. Next life, he was only eating dry grass, not lushy green grass. He left his birthplace and he left the Kalanjara mountains and he went to Pulahashrama. And that he lived and ate the grass, lived in the company of saintly people. In the next life, he went on to become a Jadavarata and went back to Godhead after that. So the point is, we have to be very careful when we have a human form of life. Like Bharat Maharaj, even though he was a devotee, he fell prey to attachment to a deer. And then he became a deer for one lifetime at least. So in our life, we can see people are developing so many other wrong attachments. And people are also indulging in so many sinful activities. So it's very dangerous. Therefore, we have to regularly hear. Hearing is very important. Because if we don't hear and if we don't apply it in our life, then we can't remember the Lord. It's not possible. Yeah. If one is transcendently absorbed in Krishna's service, then the next body will be spiritual, not material, Prabhupada says. Therefore, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. This is the best way to, purify our state of mind. As today, tomorrow I will tell more about what is the exact purification we have to do and how do we do it. We will talk about it tomorrow. See here, what Krishna says in this verse: Na tadbhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva nivartante tadhama paramam mama. That supreme abode of mind, which is spiritual world, is not illumined by sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world, Krishna says. That means there's material world, there is spiritual world. He uses the word Tad Dham, like Vrindavan Dham, Mathura Dham, that Dham, he says. Paramam Mama, he says. It's my abode. Those who reach that never come back, he says. So the Atmas in the spiritual world, like you see Hanuman here, you see Krishna playing with covered boys. So all these souls are pure souls in the spiritual world, and they eternally live a life of boundless happiness. Yeah. Actually, one thing Krishna tells his devotees that even though you become a devotee, don't think you will be free from trouble. Material world means there will be trouble. But whenever you remember me, I will be with you and I will guide you. Like Arjuna chose Krishna to be on his side. Therefore, he got guidance how to face the challenges in life. So now we will see about more about karma and how to attain freedom. You can see in this world both types of people, somebody beautiful, somebody ugly, somebody floating in money, somebody poverty stricken, somebody very strong, somebody handicapped, somebody healthy, somebody diseased. And these are all due to sinful reactions. And similarly, you find the pious reactions also bring forth pious results. So after seeing this, probably you all may think we should not indulge in sinful activities, we should do pious activities. But in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says something very important. He says, everybody in this world is thinking of immediate needs and spend their whole life without any ultimate goal. They don't know. Whatever facilities they got in this life, they're just taking and enjoying, not knowing where are they going in the next life. So, like based on the desires and good karma, bad karma, I told you, the soul keeps on wandering from one body to another. We don't know where are we going. Good karma, bad karma automatically arranges the next body. You see, for every act we do, there's a reaction. See, this fellow sitting, his left side is getting, and then it is hitting down everything. Like that, how the karma comes, I will show you one short video. You are able to see different karmas accruing. He's spitting in the Viksha Patra, the beggar. So all these fellows are in his account. See, all of them are coming, running there. He's seeing a bug. Unnecessarily, he will crush it with his legs. The last fellow is coming, burning now. The account is over now. You saw now? Huh? So how intricately karma works, it shows that. You saw that? So for every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. Any of you are difficult understanding or it was easy? It was clear? Yeah. See, there is instant karma. If somebody gives a slap, immediately gets a slap back. Or somebody, plants a seed, they get an apple after some time. Similarly, we have two roads in human life. We can walk the right path or the sinful path. So here are some sinful activities given in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Dyutam panam striyasuna yatra dharmaschatuvida. It says that meat eating, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex, these four are sinful activities. Even from a scientific point of view, meat eating leads to passion and ignorance increase. Because when you're killing the animal, it is afraid. But then if it is not able to save itself, it will show the teeth. It becomes violent. It's a product of violence and fear. Violence is Rajoguna, fear is Tamoguna. So when we eat such products, we also become product of violence and fear due to adrenaline secretion. Similarly, intoxication leads to addiction. You know that gambling leads to quick money or no money, and illicit relationship disturbs the family, and also it's very sinful. So it's unclean. It produces innumerable diseases. So you will find that all these are sinful activities called vikarma. The name vikarma is given here. Then there are pious activities like karma. So when you all saw the previous slides, you may think maybe we should do pious activities. But if you do pious activities, for example, these people are doing some pious activities, yajna and all, they may go to heaven. Or some people give charity to poor. If you give some uniform to school children, next life you become a owner of a textile mill. Or you give notebooks to school children, you become a owner of a printing press or something like that. Or if you give water in summer season, you become, you get a house near a river or something. So pious activities produces pious results. They don't take us to spiritual world. So akarma is what takes us to spiritual world. Akarma means, as I told you in the beginning of the class, two stories I told you. One of the monkey story I told you. Another one I told you, the boy who wrote on the wall. So those two stories teach us how to act in God's account, not act in our own account. This akarma frees us from cycle of birth and death, and it takes us to spiritual world also. Like here you see, this girl is chanting Hare Krishna, thinking of Krishna. Somebody is worshipping Krishna. In the next 3-4 slides, I have given a profuse number of activities in Krishna consciousness. You can see them. For example, here is Arjuna. Arjuna is fighting on whose account? Whose account? Krishna's account. Because he is not fighting for his own sense gratification. Duryodhana is fighting for, winning over the Pandavas and wiping out the Pandavas and killing them and taking over the worldly kingdom. Pandavas actually fought because Krishna told them. So in this way, that means his activities are aligned with Krishna. And he is actually becoming free from karma bandhan. Like, in those days we used to have this audio tape. The audio tape moves like this. One side gets more and more tape. Another side gradually releases more and more. So Arjuna is like, which one? The releasing one or the increasing one? Arjuna's karma bandhan is getting released or increases? It is getting relieved. He is becoming free from karma bandhan, bondage. And Duryodhana is increasing more and more because fighting on his own account. See, these are different activities you can do, just spiritual activities. See, here is a book table. Some family, they are distributing books. Below you find they are doing Harinam Sankirtanam. Here some Matajis are making garland. Here you see. There's a Mata behind also, you can see she's making garland. She's doing seva there, you can see that. Similarly, here some people are distributing prasadam. Here one Mata is doing worship of the Lord. All these are spiritual activities, completely spiritual activities, done on Krishna's account. Here more activities, see, cooking for Krishna, painting for Krishna, gardening for Krishna, and speaking the glories of Krishna, like I am also speaking now from Bhagavad Gita. So all these spiritual activities. See here, performing Kirtan Mela, thousands of devotees come together in Mayapur Dham and they perform Kirtan like this. And they sit hours and hours and they sing the glories of Hare Krishna mantra, they sing. So in this way, we can make our time golden hour, golden time by spiritualizing it. See here, more activities I have shown. If you are an expert in computer, you can help in publishing books or making a poster, or you can be a writer, you can write articles for Back to Godhead magazine, or you can write a blog by which you spread, some spiritual vibration all across the globe for the other youths. Here this devotee is playing instruments, mridanga. Similarly, one devotee, Jayananda Prabhu, used to build carts, Rath cart, and more activities. Yeah, correct. In this way, if you perform this type of spiritual activities, then there is no more birth, old age, disease, death. Basically, you are working in God's account means you spiritualize your senses. There was a great king called as Ambarish Maharaj, long ago in Satyayuga. This king was such a pure devotee king. Morning he would go to the assembly of the royal assembly. He will go and sit in his king's seat. And one by one ministers would get up and they would give report to him. My dear king, I am water department, I am education department, I am fire department. Everyone will get up and give the reports to him. And they will also tell the king what they are planning to do in the coming few months. He would hear it all, nodding the head. And then he would leave the palace and go to the temple of Krishna, where he would take a cloth and wipe the floor of the temple personally with his own hands. When the altar would open, he would take darshan of the Lord. And also with the ears, he would hear the katha of the Lord, just like you all are hearing now. With the mouth, he would sing songs about the Lord. In this way, he utilized all his senses and he conquered all his desires, it is said. He became a pure devotee king. It's not that religion means you have to give up everything and go to Himalayas. You can find from Ambarish Maharaja, there is one verse which says that he was Griheshu Dareshu Suteshu Bandushu Dipottamasyan Danavadi Vastushu Akshaya Ratnam Baranam Baradishu Ananta Kosheshu Akarod Asanmati. This verse says he had many wives, many children, and he also had Griheshu Dareshu Suteshu. He had many palaces also. Bandushu, many relatives with whom he was living. And he had golden chariots, he had elephants, he had horses, he had costly dresses, costly jewelry he was wearing. And Akshaya Ratnam Baranam. And then it says, Ananta Koshishu means inexhaustible treasury. So much wealth he had. He was the king of the world. But he was not attached to any of them. His heart was attached only to Krishna's lotus feet, it is said. Which means he was always worshipping the Lord. In his heart he was thinking, this material world is temporary, spiritual world is permanent. I will do my duty in a detached spirit, in a renounced spirit, like that he did. Therefore, you can live in the midst of the world and do all your duties and still go back to Godhead without having to give them up, provided you give up attachment to them in the heart and do your duties as a service to God. That's what he did. See here, this is called ABCD formula, we call it. A for association, B for Bhagavad Gita, C for chanting, D for diet, E for seva engagement. Remember, there's 5 things. If you always come, like you are coming in the last 3 days, 4 days for this program. So these type of programs where you get to hear about the Lord, ask questions, and that is called association. Like-minded devotees come together. And read Bhagavad Gita. Every day you should have a habit of reading 1 page at least. Keep a copy of Bhagavad Gita, one page every day, 5 minutes. And every day have a habit of chanting 1 round of Hare Krishna at least, which will take you 10 minutes only. So 10 plus 5 minutes, 15 minutes in 24 hours. How many of you feel it's possible? You feel it's possible, right? Yeah. And do this and see, you will see a big difference in your state of mind, your consciousness. You'll feel very, very peaceful. So add this to your life. And then diet is the prasadam, which is cooked with love and offered with love to the Lord. Prasadam means we say thank you to the Lord and we accept. And do some seva, different type of seva I showed you now. So then we are sent back home, back to Godhead. We go to the spiritual world. We accept the Guru and study the Vedas, perform these austerities, sense control, and then spiritual knowledge, go back to Godhead. Krishna says this, Mama Vedya Puran Janma Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam Napnuvanti Mahatmanaha Samsiddhim Paramam. Arjun, after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion, Bhakti Yoga, they never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, he says, because they have attained the highest perfection. So in this way, what I have shown in this slide is a very simple thing. This entire slide shows you the quota which is allotted by God to you in your life. The subsequent slides I am showing the same things in a pictorial fashion. I will show you. For example, what is your quota? You can accept the vegetarian food which is offered to God, which is called prasada. But we should not eat non-vegetarian, unauthorized foods. And we should not overeat food also. Correct? Similarly, what is allotted for us? You can, you can accept the property which is your own, allotted by God, but don't encroach on others' property, just like the Pandavas, you see. And Pandavas' property was taken away by Duryodhana. Similarly, wealth also. You can honorably earn the wealth without cheating. And also engage the wealth in Lord's service. But wealth earned by wrong means like gambling, that is actually binding in this world because it's a cheating money without endeavor. Similarly, our work should be aligned with religious principles. We should not work for organizations which are promoting smoking or drinking or illicit sex or anything. We should not work for such organizations. Because there are many companies which are committing sinful activities on a large scale, like there is Venky's promoting millions of chicken. We cannot work for such companies, because then you also by working for the sinful, we become sinful also. So an endeavor, yes, you can make an endeavor, and you can earn money, and then live a life in divine consciousness. But one shouldn't become extremely greedy. Actually, ambition is good, but not over ambition. Did I show that monkey? Did I show you? I showed monkey, no? How many of you remember seeing a monkey? Not fed with so many items, but he was not able to eat. You saw that? I didn't see. Okay, I showed. I think at first I showed. You didn't see it? So, what did you observe with this monkey? Anybody? Did you observe that he was more in a mode of accumulating than enjoying? You observed that? Huh? He was only just biting the cover of the banana. He was not able to eat also. Another thing you observed, he was looking behind. You saw that several times. What was he looking behind for? Huh? Yeah, he's afraid that some other monkeys may come and fight with him or something. That means he was not enjoying those moments of receiving so much. He's receiving a lot, but he's fearful. And he's also not able to eat properly, just accumulating. And not able to accumulate also. It keeps going. Have you seen the nutty greedy? Nutty greedy, if you go to Google search, you'll find out nutty greedy. That squirrel accumulated a lot of nuts, but everything went off finally. You'll see that. So we should endeavor, but not become over ambitious. Similarly, one is allowed to marry as per religious principles, like Lord Rama is an ideal example of Ekapati Braj. But one should not maintain any illicit relationship. That is, it's not permitted, like Ravana here. Similarly, yes, you can accept a post or position and accept it as God's gift and then you utilize it in the mood of a servant of God, as a representative of God. But not that one accepts a position for swindling the money of the public or using one's power for crushing the people. So in this way, also you see, one should not indulge in animal slaughter or abortion. Yeah. Yeah, you can sleep 6 hours a day. It's to keep your body healthy. And that's all human being requires actually. But one should not sleep unnecessarily. Similarly, you can accept that which is favorable to Krishna consciousness. Like here you can see the children are doing some kirtan mela, singing. Below that you are seeing they are doing Bharatanatyam, Madhimeka Kanni, they are doing this Krishna Sudama pastime. On the other hand, you find when children watch horror movies, the impressions are formed in the mind. It's very dangerous. Now see here, they are frightened. So these things don't go away. Later on, for whole life, they remember watching horror movies and seeing this. Yeah. Of course, you can keep your body healthy in service to God. You can do Bharatanatyam, you can do Pranayam. And one should not become a couch potato in idle TV watching, isn't it? So you can see in God's creation, He has given us so many things. We should know the right behavior and wrong behavior. So I will not take this last part. I will take some 5-minute questions. It will get late now. Otherwise, anybody would like to ask any questions? Any of you? Yes. Because already I have told you 4 headings. If I tell you 5th one, it will become too much, I think. So what are the 4 headings I told you? I will just show you. This is the first one. We talked about where can we find true happiness. Where I told you about multiple types of happiness and spiritual happiness is the highest. And eating, sleeping, mating, depending is all material. And in human body only I told you that you can inquire about the nature of life and death and beyond. Especially these questions. What is the cause of suffering? How can I become eternally happy? And what is the purpose of life? How to harmonize our life with nature and God. So I told you about inquiry and this was the first part we discussed about happiness. And then this led us to the second point about why am I suffering? This is a very easy part because I told you 4 types of real problems. What are they? What are they? 4 real problems of life. Yeah, birth, old age, disease, and death. And I also told you about 3-fold miseries also. You remember? Miseries arising from? Yes, body and mind. Other living beings. Natural calamities, correct. So those are coming in this item 2. And then third one. Okay. This was a very important part. We discussed about where do we go after this life. Here, if you remember, two positive examples I presented in the beginning, two historical pastimes. You remember which ones? I showed you video also, I showed you. Yes? Anyone? Yeah? Gajendra was one. Gajendra was one I showed, yeah. That is the second one I showed. One prior to that I showed also. Prior to that Gajendra I showed one more. Anybody remember? But I'll give you a clue. One great Brahman falling from his position. Jamya. Correct. Yeah, Jamya. So then he gave the name Narayana to the last son, calling his name Narayana. He was saved from the Yamadutas and then he was saved by Vishnudutas. Later on he repented and had a remorse and he went to Haridwar and perfected his life and went back to God. So those two pastimes I told you because at the time of death these fellows remembered. These people could remember the Lord and go back to God. Then I told you Bharat Maharaja's pastime. What lesson did I draw from that? From Bharata, he was a great king, went to the forest to become a pure devotee and go back to God. What happened with him? Anybody? Any mistake he did or no mistake? Yeah? Attachment to whom? Yeah, she's saying also. Yeah, please give the mic to her. Yeah. Oh, that was Ajamila. And Narayana was the last son. So he called Narayana at the time of death and Vishnudutas came and saved him. That was correct. After that he told about Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj had become attached to a deer. And so much so that he was carrying the deer everywhere on his shoulder and he slept with it, kept on the lap. He forgot the spiritual duties. So I compared it to the modern day smartphone. Correct now? We all many times get carried away by smartphone. We forget there's no time for spirituality because of that. So therefore we were saying that we should not get distracted. This is how I began the karma part. Then following this, I was telling you more about how the next body is awarded. Who can say? On what basis the next body is awarded? Two things. Anybody can say? Next body, how is it awarded? On what basis? Based on our one thing is our karma. Good karma, bad karma, what we have done. See, the karma is like a cash. You can pay the cash in a shop, correct now? And you can purchase some cloth or whatever you want. So that is the karma, we say. There's one more thing. Thoughts and desires. Yeah. So what is a desire and how much is a paying price? Karma. These two things. For example, say you all are going to graduate now, later on you want to purchase a house. You can purchase a row house, or you can purchase independent bungalow, or you can purchase a 2 BHK, 3 BHK in India as people purchase. It depends on how much money you have. So how much karma you have. If you have good karma, a lot, then you can purchase accordingly. Otherwise, we cannot. So one is karma, another one is desire. So some of you, do you remember some of the wrong desires people had due to which they got certain bodies? I gave some examples. If you remember 4 or 5 in one slide I showed. You remember any of it? Who becomes who? If somebody can remember some of those items. One item. You remember one item? Give the mic to him.
I think a lustful person becomes a dog.
Correct. You're right.
A person who is exposing becomes a tree.
So you remember 2 examples, remember. Like that I gave many examples. A very envious person becomes a snake. Similarly, one who is sleeping a lot becomes a polar bear, like that. That means material nature awards us bodies according to our desires and what we deserve. So 2 Ds. What you desire, what you deserve. Those are the 2 things based on. That's what we discussed here. And then I also told you karma immediately doesn't come. There is instant karma, there is delayed karma, and then some karma goes to the next life also. If it is not given in this life. So all that we discussed in this one. Very good. You captured the point. Very nice. And then the 4th one here. Law of karma and working to attain freedom. So I told you 3 types of karma. Anybody remembers? Karma, vikarma, akarma. 3 types of karma. Anybody can say what is karma? Karma, when you say it, is pious activity. Vikarma means it is good or bad? Bad activities, that which is sinful activities. And then akarma means what activities? Good. No, it's not good activity. Yeah. Aligned with the Supreme Lord. That is akarma. Very good. So it's a karma. A means aligned. Aligned with the karma which is aligned with the Lord. You can remember. Very good. So now in sinful activities, 4 things I told you. What are the 4 things anybody remembers? The 4 sinful activities. Any one you remember? Yeah? Gambling. That's correct. Yeah. One is gambling. Yeah. Then meat eating. Yeah, correct. Meat eating, gambling. Yeah. Illicit relation. Then one more. Huh? Intoxication. Correct. Like smoking, drinking, drugs. So, Srila Prabhupada taught this based on Srimad Bhagavatam. Dyutam panam striya sona yatra adharma shatravida. Bhagavatam says that. These 4 are adharmic activities. We should give them up. Actually, if you stop these 4 sinful activities, immediately 50% of your, 50% you are liberated. Because sinful activities, you will see, you need five things cling on to you if you do sinful activities. First thing is, to do the sinful activities, you have to spend money. Because cigarette doesn't come free, liquor doesn't come free. You have to spend money. And after indulging in them, second thing that comes is the suffering that comes from them. Second thing. Third thing, you have to pay the doctor's fee to cure the disease. And fourthly, the police many times are involved in the sinful activity. For example, somebody is doing drug peddling, or somebody is having illicit connection, or somebody is, for example, drinking and driving the vehicle. Police is involved. Police punishment. And the 5th one is, at the time of death, one will be subjected to sinful reactions by Yamaraj. Yamadutas, they take the 5 disadvantages of sinful life, and we can say that. On the other hand, for spiritual activity, you don't need much. You just need 1 copy of Bhagavad Gita and 1 japa beads. You chant, and then you karma, you do akarma, and then align with the Lord and go back to God. It's very easy. But although it's very easy, many people don't do it. That all that you need is sincerity, isn't it? So thank you. You all remember that. One more important question here I clarified. So I told you that pious activities produces handsome body, isn't it? And it produces good education, good food, good health, good family and all that. And sinful activities I told you. So should we do pious activity or sinful activity? When I asked, what was the answer to the question? Should we do? Naturally, you will say we should not do sinful activities. So should we do pious activities? Yeah? Or should we do something else? Yeah? Anybody? Yeah. Akarma we should do, yeah. Because what is the problem in doing only pious activities which are not spiritual? There are many activities people do which are, people help many people in this world. But without doing anything spiritual. What's the problem with that? Anybody? Yeah, you want to try? Yeah.
We get attached to our own karma.
Yeah, that means you will be reborn. For example, if you are giving uniform to school children, you become a textile mill owner. Or you give school notebooks to children, you just become a printing press owner. That means in this world, by good material karma, you get returned in big proportion. You get 1,000 times more you get in the next life. Or if you do yajna, you go to heavenly planets and then come, when punya is over, you come back. Shine punya mattalokam shanti. Whereas if you do spiritual activities, then you go back to Godhead. So in spiritual activity, I showed you many pictures. Anybody remembers? Some of those pictures you saw. What can you do for Krishna? Arjuna, what did he do? What service Arjuna rendered for Krishna? Fighting the battle, yeah. After that, I showed you many activities. Very simple activities. You have to just to align with God. You remember some activities? I'll show you again. From this I started, from this slide. Here I showed you. Arjuna is fighting for Krishna, correct? We can distribute Bhagavad Gita or books related to the Lord. Or we can do Sankirtanam in the streets, like playing Mridanga, everything. Here Mataji's mothers are doing garland for the Lord. Here some of the devotees are distributing prasadam to the devotees. Here one lady is performing arati for the Lord. All are spiritual activities, akarma. Simply by looking at the picture, you will capture very easy. Someone, see, these ladies are cooking big quantity of prasad to distribute to thousands of people. And here, below that, Srila Prabhupada is giving a Bhagavatam class. That is also a spiritual activity. Telling knowledge about Krishna to others. And then Krishna, gardening for Krishna, painting for Krishna. And then doing a big Kirtan Mela for Krishna. Here, computer work for Krishna. Printing backward magazines. Writing articles for about Krishna. Or building a chariot. Or playing instruments. So many things you can do. And all these activities are there, spiritually elevating. Yeah. And then ABCD, remember this? A for? B for? Which books? Bhagavad Gita. C for? Chanting. And D for? That is the prasadam. E for? Seva engagement. So how many minutes I told you chanting every day? At least? 10 minutes, one round. And Bhagavad Gita, just one page. Just 15 minutes you spend and see, your life will be much better, different. And then you get elevated. So then Krishna says, you come back to me. Then this quota I showed you, correct now? Quota of all the items I showed you. How you should accept the quota allotted by God. Then your life is akarma. You are aligned with God. I showed you that. Thank you. You recollected, we could do a quick revision of the whole thing today. So Prabhupada ki. Can we do 5 minutes Kirtan? You are all ready? At the Mridanga? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So you all have captured the very essential knowledge very well. In this world, it's very easy to lead a very virtuous life if we keep our life centered around the teachings of God in Bhagavad Gita. You can see Gajendra, how Gajendra very nicely perfected his life, even in the body of an elephant. So it's not very difficult for us. The path of Bhakti Yoga is very easy. It's unlike the path of Jnana or Yoga, where the austerities and penances are very enormous. They have to go to Himalayas, they have to torture their senses, they have to shut the eyes, shut the ears, shut the mouth, like the three monkeys you have seen. Whereas in our path, it's a very sweet path. You just have to agree to align with the Lord, that's all. Like for example, if you have to come to America, if you are an IITian in IIT, our boys used to always talk. If you have a reco by a professor, it becomes very easy for you to come to the West, even before you complete your GRE TOEFL also. In fact, you can come to America and then give GRE TOEFL and all, if your professor has recommended you. On the other hand, without the reco of the professor, it's very difficult to get scholarship in America. You all know that, isn't it? Similarly, you will see Srila Prabhupada is one of the pure devotees in the receptive land. So he has given us the commentaries of the Bhagavad Gita. If we align with the teachings that he has taught in a very lucid language, you will see that then immediately your Guru gives a recommendation to you. Immediately Krishna will recognize you. Then it becomes very easy to go back to Godhead. Even a child can perfect life by Bhakti Yoga. On the contrary, when we deviate from the path laid down by God, then we invite so much trouble. So many complications. Needless to say, the Western world, you all know better than me. The more we go farther from God, the more trouble we invite. So tomorrow, a very important question will be answered tomorrow. What is actually the meaning of purifying the heart? What is the impurity in our heart and how it should be purified? That will be taught tomorrow. Tomorrow is the concluding session, and I welcome all of you again. I thank every one of you for your sincerity and commitment in taking this course very seriously. Many of you here have been coming regularly. Krishna says 1 out of 1,000 people only get the opportunity to make their lives perfect. He says, Manushyanam Sahasreshu. So even if one of you would come, I would be willing to conduct the class, because Krishna says 1 out of 1,000 comes for the class. But we have been having more than one. Very happy. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we are very fortunate to have this Radheshyam. Some of you may have come for the first time. So I will give a very brief introduction of Radheshyam. So Radheshyam is a global duty officer of ISKCON, which is by recommendation of the governing body commission of ISKCON, the top organization of ISKCON, top governing commission. He has been a renunciate monk for over 30 years, and he has been the temple president of ISKCON Pune. There are 2 temples, in fact more than 2, sorry, there are 4 temples in ISKCON Pune, and he is the temple president, and he has been the temple president for more than 25 years. There is a congregation community of more than 6,000 devotees which take guidance, who are connected to ISKCON Pune, and they take guidance of Radheshyam. And he is also the temple president of ISKCON Abbotts, Hyderabad. And he's renowned all across the world, across ISKCON, for his outreach, specifically for youth, for teaching very difficult topics of Bhagavad Gita in very lucid language. And he has arranged, and he's like the course instructor and course organizer of many such courses. Like one of them, which you are attending, is Gita in a nutshell. But other than that, he has also conducted and he has organized courses for many such courses. And he has easily spoken in many multinational companies, Amazon, Microsoft, and over hundreds of universities, including all IITs, MIT, and so many other places. So we are very grateful. So Radheshyam comes twice a year. He travels all across the United States. And Boston is fortunate because Google spends 4 to 2 weeks here, maybe 9 weeks here. We are very grateful to hear from Radheshyam, and we are very thankful.
I will come in September, mid-September again.
So Guru will be coming again in mid-September. So as Guru is mentioned, we'll be having the concluding session tomorrow. And now all of you can please proceed forwards and please take your plate of prasad, and we can all have prasad on board upstairs. And you can also take second service too. Hare Krishna. Looking forward to see you tomorrow.